Exeter prison wall. Very tall, very long. That's going to be a trend in this video, lots of walls, so I hope you like walls, because I should name it the Visit to Exeter's Walls. We're now stood outside Exeter prison, which is quite exciting. This is where they locked up the witches before taking them outside of the city to hang them. It's quite impressive and it's very big. Plaque that commemorates the witches. We're going to see if we can find it. This mural depicts the witches here. All three of them sat around a cauldron brewing a potion. And this whole thing displays Exeter with Rougemont Castle up there. And that was somewhere, I can't remember where it is. The trade ships from Exmouth coming in. But this is where we're focused in the witches there. And the plaque is just up on the wall, so we'll go and see it. Here is the plaque that commemorates to the witches outside of the gatehouse. The gatehouse was constructed by William the Conqueror soon after the Norman conquest in 1066, although we've sped on from then and we're now in 1685. The form of execution that they went through was they were hung. They were hung in Exeter, which we're going to be going to soon. They were tried here at the assizes at Rougemont Castle. The assizes, they don't exist anymore, but they were what were known as periodic courts. They were held around the UK until 1972, because they were abolished by the Courts Act of 1971 and replaced by the Crown Court and the Crown Prosecution Service. The court assize is an old French for a sitting or a session. So now we stand in the car park of St Luke's campus at the University of Exeter, and this is actually where they're buried, and legend has it their bones are still underneath this very car park. So maybe one day our archaeologists will dig them up, just like they did to Richard III or whoever it was. So we're now in Exeter graveyard cemetery kind of thing, and this red thing, church I think it is, that's what it said on the map, is where the dissenters were buried originally, and these were people who were against religion, like the witches, like people who weren't necessarily religious as such, other people like that, and that's where they would have been buried. And the graves you just saw over there, if you turn around again, these graves here would have been kind of dysentery. 3 convicts went by the name of Temperance Lloyd, Mary Trembles and Susanna Edwards. They all lived in Bideford, which is a small port down in North Devon. They were tried in Exeter at the assizes at Rougemont Castle. And Saturday, July 1682, a local shopkeeper complained to the town constables that Temperance Lloyd had been practising witchcraft. They arrested her and locked her in the old chapel at the end of the bridge. On the 3rd of July, Temperance was questioned and she was admitted all the charges. She said, "The devil met me in the street and bid me kill her as because I would not be beat me around the head and the back." The other 2 were convicted later that month. Trembles was blamed for the illness of one of the other townsmen, and Edwards was arrested because she accompanied Trembles begging for food during a major food shortage that year. They joined Lloyd in Exeter, both admitting their crimes of witchcraft, later being hung that month. We're now sat in Gallows Corner bus stop, and this is where the witches were hung, probably over there by the tree if you turn around and have a look at the tree. They would have been hung here because they were supposedly evil and it was as far away from the city as possible, so they couldn't spread their evil darkness in there. Because the bus stop's called Gallows Corner, you can almost assume that this could be where they would have been hung, because this is on the corner that the bus stop is. But the reason it was illegal, legal to execute women because they were supposedly practicing witchcraft, was because of James I's book on demonology, which is basically how to spot a witch. And he was a very paranoid man, and he was obsessed with the devil and witches and things. So much so, when he got married, he believed that hundreds of witches from England sailed across the North Sea to Norway, or wherever he got married, on sieves to come in and curse him and meet up with the supreme witch. So he wasn't a particularly mentally okay man, but that's what happened. So yeah, see you next time.